Oh, hi everyone. My name is Blaschke, Managing Editor at Inside Asian Gaming here at G2E in Las Vegas. And we're live here with Andrew W. Scott, the Vice Chairman and CEO of Inside Asian Gaming, of course, and Cory Roberts, the publisher of CDC Gaming. And I'd like to point out we're here in the Ainsworth Live booth, on the Ainsworth stand, of course, here at G2E. And it's a partnership, of course, the Ainsworth Live booth with CDC and in the Travel Gaming and Hospitality, of course. So great to be here. And of course, many of you would have seen our big news during the week that IAG is merging with CDC. Planned merger, I've signed a letter of intent for the merger to go ahead for the 1st of January 2025. So we thought, what better opportunity than to sit down and have a chat about it, find out all about the what's, the where's, the why's, the how's about this merger. So first of all, Andrew, I guess the first place to start is, how did this merger come about?
Yeah, well, it was very interesting, Ben. Cory at CDC Gaming has been somebody that we've admired for many years. We first started talking way back in G2E Asia 2018, so 6 years ago, more than 6 years ago now, and very quickly signed a strategic partnership agreement. So CDC Gaming and IAG have been dating, I suppose you would say, for 6 years, and during those 6 years we've re-signed the partnership agreement, strategic partnership agreement a number of times, and each time that we've signed it, we sort of got closer and closer and closer and closer. And then earlier this year, we were looking at developing a product, and so was Cory and his team, CDC Gaming, and it was almost became like, well, they're going to develop it, we're going to develop it, we're actually going to use the same people, why don't we do it together? And then we started talking about, well, why don't we just do everything together? So that's how it sort of came about. It was about 6 months ago, I guess, we started talking seriously, and we've had to keep it very quiet, of course, for 6 months while negotiations have gone on, but I have to say negotiations were very pleasant and very easy, as it always has been to deal with CDC Gaming. So yeah, that's how it got going.
So Cory, the CDC has a very substantial reach here in North America and through all of the Americas. IAG likewise in Asia. For the readers of both brands, what does this merger actually mean?
Well, in 2018, one of the reasons we reached out to Inside Asia Gaming was because they had people on the ground in Asia, and we really respected their work. So likewise, CDC Gaming, we have people in the US who have been in the industry for decades. And so we saw that parallel, and over the years, we realized, we share a lot in common, our work ethic, our journalism standards, all that. So what the merger might mean for it is that more of the good stuff, we continue doing our regional expertise worldwide, which is our slogan for the parent company. And anything we do together new also kind of carries that idea in it, that we would hire people, if we're covering a region, we have people from that region who understand that region.
Yeah, and if I would just add on to what Cory said, for our clients, it's all good news, because we're not going to change anything that we do currently. IAG will still be called IAG, will still cover the Asia Pacific region in the way that it always has. CDC Gaming will still be called CDC Gaming and will still cover the US, Canada, and Latin America in the way that it already has. Well, actually in some expanded ways. But yet on top of that, there will be a layer of combination where we get access to CDC's resources in a way that we were getting access to strategic partners, but of course as equity partners, it's a totally different kettle of fish, and vice versa. So CDC's American customers get access to intelligence, resources, knowledge, people on the ground in Asia with 20 years experience, and the reverse for IAG's customers in Asia for the Americas.
And perhaps Andrew, you could expand on that a bit too, with obviously a new parent company, as you say. Can you talk a little bit about that, how IAG and CDC will work under that?
Sure. Well, one thing that a lot of people have been coming up to me here at G2E. We announced it on Monday afternoon, and if I had $1 for everybody that came up and shook my hand and said congratulations, I'd have a few dollars. But one thing a lot of people have been asking is who's taking over who. And I've had to explain, well, no, it's not like that at all. This really is a genuine merger of equals. So we are creating this new parent company called Complete Media Group, and then both of the two companies, IAG and CDC, will become wholly owned subsidiaries of Complete Media Group, and the existing shareholders of those two companies will become shareholders of Complete Media Group. So we will operate, we're trying to capture the best of both worlds by being able to operate independently as we currently do, but yet also both be owned by the same parent company, which in turn is owned by all of us, all of the shareholders of those two companies, and that's hence the need for a new company to be the new parent. So hence this Complete Media Group. So that's how it'll work. We'll both operate independently as we already have, but of course we'll both be owned by the same parents, and therefore, the reality is that way back behind the scenes, where it's all the same bucket after all, and we'll be able to cooperate.
So if I can add on to that, we have a lot in common in our operations, both as media publications. So we can add employees to the parent company who end up doing work for both of the companies, and that's really efficient. We both have websites, we both have graphic design needs, and all that. We can pool our resources and have one person who understands both markets and both companies to accomplish that.
And if I can add on to what you said, I want to make it very clear, we're not taking any employees out of the situation here. So often companies come together, they say, there are synergies, there are cost savings, we both had a person X, we can just keep one and get rid of the other one.
We're all about doing more with this merger.
Exactly.
At the moment with CDC, a lot of the technological responsibilities fall on me, and with the new parent company, we can hire somebody who can, sort of assist me in the technological duties. And that's something that I've been wanting to do, but it's always been just a little bit too little work. But with, two publications and then, more in the future, we can really get strong talent to work for the parent company to help the two companies do even better.
So we sort of have about 25 staff each roughly, so combined it will be 50, and we're actually looking to bring that number up, not down, to create more, and as Cory says, to do more. Yeah.
And it's interesting because often when two companies come together, it's really a bit of a takeover, or there's a dominant company in there, but in this case, it's a genuine merger, two companies coming together as equals.
Yeah, which I think is quite rare actually, and if I don't say so myself, there's no other company in the world, and that's a credit to Cory and Jeffrey Compton-Foying, that founded CDC. There's no other gaming media company in the world that we would have dreamt of doing this with, or doing this kind of merger of equals with.
Vice versa, same. It's amazing how well that things have gone over the years. Like, you always think there's going to be some disagreement, but we keep finding we do things the same way, same standards, and we work with a lot of the same companies, and it makes so much sense.
Particularly our editorial, our commitment to trying to be first, always be first with the news, and to do the news really accurately, and to do, when we do opinion analysis, to do that well in a meaningful way, in a way that executives in the industry will appreciate. I think both companies have that. That's something I've always admired about CDC. I mean, there are a lot of gaming media companies out there in the world that are a little bit trigger happy on the copy and paste keys, and a lot of our work ends up being copying and pasted. And we've actually helped each other on that, where we've seen people plagiarizing you and vice versa.
We bonded early on was when we partnered with Inside Asian Gaming, and we were browsing for news articles. We'd be like, that article looks familiar, and then we'd send it to Inside Asian Gaming, and then sometimes likewise, Ben would be searching for something and like, wait, that looks like something that CDC covered.
We wrote that yesterday.
That's an unfortunate bonding experience, but likewise, kind of made it stronger, just what we stand for.
It's interesting that, as you say, that this really expands the coverage area of the parent company. Now, as a group, our coverage area covers all of the Americas, all of Asia Pacific. It's got at least 2/3 of the world covered in population, possibly more. So that's quite a lot of power, not just from an editorial point of view, but for both of our clients. It means the reach is substantial.
Well, the network. One thing that IAG, we're not a traditional media company. Of course, we do publish 2,000 stories a year, publish a lot. But I think everybody that deals with us knows that we're all about relationships, and now at CDC's network, CDC's been around actually longer than us. They've been around 23 years. As of the start of the merger, we've been around 20. We get access to the network as well.
Can I just ask too, what are some of the areas, Cory, what are some of the areas you think IAG can sort of help your team with, and vice versa? Andrew, what do you think are some of the areas that Cory's team can help IAG with?
Sure. Well, one thing we noticed is a lot of companies are in both of our publications, and that's something we can really coordinate on. Is companies that want to target both the U.S. and Macau and Canada and Philippines. They can all just have one company which can orchestrate this marketing and reaching out to the partners we've been dealing with for decades. We have some readers in our email database, and I'm sure likewise for you that the first three numbers is 200. So we both have readers from the first decade of our publication still reading, and we can connect with them, both of the publications, and serve them better.
Yeah, and I think we have a very thriving events business as well, and CDC doesn't have as big an events business, and we certainly, we've grown that events business with the Power 50 and the MADs and the IAG Academy and all of the things that we currently do. We've grown that quite successfully, I think, over the past 8 years or so, and we hope to be able to do something with CDC. I know you've expressed a lot of excitement over that.
Yes, we're very excited to potentially bring over some of the brands that Inside Asian Gaming has been developing over the years for their events. They do the Power 50, they do Macau After Dark. These events have become staples in the Asian gaming industry, and we look forward to having that experience that comes with the events. Not having to do the groundwork when now we have a close partner that's going to be the same company. They've already done the work. They've already figured out what works, and we'll be starting off on a very strong foot rather than kind of treading carefully.
And of course, some of that will use existing IP where it works, but also you kind of a Macau After Dark in the US.
Yes.
So some of it needs to be customized for the US, or indeed new things developed that are US, Canada, or North America, Latin America, that as well, and vice versa. Might I say, CDC has a very, very strong technology base, and I'll be the first to put our hands up to say that's probably one of our not so great areas where our IT could be better than it is. It's satisfactory, it's okay, but I think Cory and his team are doing a great job on that in a way that we're not. So Cory actually will be Chief Technology Officer for the entire group and bring his skills to ramping up our IT capabilities.
To Andrew's credit, satisfactory is better than he thinks. I've poked around some of the other industry websites, and their base, it's a very good-looking website. It's very information forward. So there are ways we can improve it and things we can add on, but it's a good base to start with.
Well, I have to say the mantra at IAG is that the pass mark is 8 out of 10. So 8 out of 10 is satisfactory. 7 out of 10 is not good enough. Yes.
Well, I was just thinking that IAG has Macau After Dark and Manila After Dark. They're all mad. So if we come to the US, we would need to use Minnesota After Dark or Mississippi After Dark.
Michigan After Dark.
Go to Canada, Montreal After Dark. So we needed to rebrand if we're coming to certain places in the US that are strong in gaming. Last question for you. Of course, the parent company is called Complete Media Group. Why the name Complete Media Group?
Do you want to go first?
Sure. Well, when we were thinking about our iGaming project, I was thinking Complete would be an interesting name because it kind of, with iGaming, it's truly a worldwide product. And so, people want the complete picture. And as we talked about it more, we realized that's a very fitting name for a merged company because we will have, CDC has staff in 8 US states, Latin America, and Canada and UK. So we're quite widespread. And likewise, Andrew has team members in Macau, Japan, and the Philippines, and you could probably add on to that.
Oh, I think, one thing just to clarify, because we didn't mention before, it was the when we mentioned that we were looking at doing a project together, it was the iGaming project.
Yes.
We want to cover iGaming separately from IAG. I think that's been pretty publicly stated now. We don't really want to get our IAG mixed up in iGaming, but we do want to have an iGaming project that covers the Asia Pacific region. CDC already has an iGaming. You have iGaming focus.
Yeah.
They already have an iGaming focus, but you were looking to ramp it up. So
yes, ramp it up and also develop that separate audience, because one thing that's apparent going to trade shows every year is that the iGaming and casino crowds, there's some overlap, but also, iGaming is bringing in a lot of fresh faces from the technological world. And to better serve that audience, we always have done everything under CDC Gaming, but we felt this was any reason to launch a separate brand, iGaming would be it.
And we felt that as well, because as well as you well know, Ben, iGaming and bricks and mortar game doesn't really mix in APAC for various reasons. We don't have time to go into that now. There's a little bit of crossover, but not as much crossover as you have. So we wanted to launch a separate brand as well, and hence the name. To get back to your original question, why Complete? So we thought, well, let's have a complete iGaming package for the world. There'll be an America's version and an APAC version slanted to each of our regions, but that iGaming world, that realm, sort of lent itself to a global product.
Yes.
And then we expanded that kind of thinking and thought, well, that's a great name for the parent company, because by putting CDC and IAG together, where we've pretty much got the complete globe, one or two little gaps. Obviously, the obvious gap is Europe and Africa, but you have a few people in Europe.
Yes, we do. And
in Europe,
another thing about Complete is it's a bit different. So if you'll notice, both of our names, CDC Gaming, Inside Asian Gaming, there's a lot of gaming in these names. So this name kind of makes you stop, and it still logically makes sense, but it's not focused on the gaming part of the name. It's sort of focused on the complete part of the name.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of hint. There's a lot to the name. There's a little bit of a hint of the project getting close to completion, and that we can wrap up the whole world. So at some point we will take a good hard look at Europe and Africa. It's not a priority right now. We've got to complete the deal. We've got to complete the deal that we've already got and get that going. But at some point, I think, well, pretty much we already are. Plenty of companies claim to be global when they don't have a presence in every continent. So I think we can well and truly claim to be global now.
I think 4 continents is quite good. 5? 5?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if there's anything on Antarctica, but we've got the main thing in all seriousness is we've got the 2 biggest terrestrial gaming markets in the world, in the United States and Macau. We're here in Las Vegas now, so we're equally comfortable with our respective teams now in Las Vegas, or even the East Coast of the US, or Latin America, Canada, as we are in Macau, or the Philippines, or Singapore, or Australia, various other places. That's a lot of the gaming planet covered. Not much more to go. So that's where Complete came from. And I think the final thing to say is it's kind of a little bit ironic. The new logo, we both really like the new logo, and the funny thing about it is the way it is some of the strokes aren't there, so it's incomplete. So the Complete game, the Complete Media Group is
we could put it on a spaceship and it would look quite cool.
It would look quite cool in the spaceship, exactly.
Send it up with Elon Musk, perhaps, up into space.
Yes, exactly.
More information to come, of course, on the iGaming project, just talking about in the coming months. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Cory. Look forward to working with both of you now in the future, and great times ahead.
I guess the last thing we should probably mention is the deal is not absolutely completed yet. I mean, it will. It's going to. We have every intention of, and it will complete on the 31st of December this year. So we'll be together absolutely as a combined organisation from January 1, 2025, which is a nice round number.
That's right. I look forward to seeing the new company in 2025, and great times ahead.
Okay. And I look forward to seeing you two in Macau next month.
Yes, Cory will be coming to Macau. I'll be coming to the US a lot more often, so a lot more travel, even more travel.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye for now.